those who live it. I'm your host, Renee Kranz. On Zoom with me today, I have Dr. Ray Guarendi. Welcome, Dr. Ray.
Hey, Renee.
So Dr. Ray is a Catholic husband and father to 10 adopted children, a clinical psychologist, author of over 20 books, professional speaker, and an international radio and television host. Many of you know him by his show on RPR, Real Presence Radio, here at noon. For over 40 years, Dr. Ray's in-depth experience has led to helping thousands eliminate parenting frustrations and build stronger marriages by showing them proven parenting techniques and following their God-given instincts to raise their kids for heaven. Radio show The Doctor is In can be heard on EWTN's Global Catholic Radio Network, Sirius XM, iHeartRadio, and over 500 domestic and international AM and FM radio affiliates, one of which is Real Presence Radio. TV show Living Right with Dr. Ray can be seen on EWTN. I have not seen that. I need to go see that.
I can tell, Renee, there are psychological gaps becoming very apparent to me.
One is that I haven't watched your show.
Yes.
You can find him on Facebook and Instagram. And as I said, Real Presence Radio over the lunch hour. And his latest book, How to Get Along with Almost Everybody, he informs me that the almost is actually me.
Not permanently.
Okay, good. Maybe after this, there'll be no almost, right? After the show today. So I wanted to bring Dr. Ray on to talk about marriage a bit. There have been some recent statistics out there in different places that I've seen where the numbers of people getting married has basically plummeted in our country, and having children, and therefore actually staying in their faith, because those things kind of go together in a lot of ways. So this is why it's important for us to talk about marriage, because marriage and family life actually very highly plays into what we do with our faith and how well we live it. So, and as a Catholic psychologist, Dr. Ray is perfect for this. If you've never listened to a show, okay, I don't have kids, and I love listening to your show to hear all the parenting advice that I never get to share with anyone because they're like, you don't have kids, you can't tell me. I'm gonna start buying books.
Well, you're not a man either, so you can't give any men advice. And
right.
You're not 80, so you can't give anybody 80-year-olds advice.
Right.
You can't. The only thing you could do, Renee, is basically a married woman to one guy. That's it. That's the only people you could give advice to.
And I can give advice to single women trying to find a good man, because I did manage to do that. My husband thought I was going to throw him under the bus on this show, and I did not.
Well, if we get interrupted, I know we're going to talk about marriage a little bit, but I'm here at home.
Oh, yes.
If we get interrupted, if my wife busts in here and says, "What are you doing talking about marriage, Raymond?" So just ignore her.
That's what you do, right?
Okay.
All right. Well, let's get started. What are some small changes that bring big results in marriage, especially to improve marriage, obviously?
Apologize for your personal apology percentage.
Okay.
That means what percentage of the conflict, the argument, the friction, whatever it is, do you think, now again, this is subjective, but do you think you did wrong? Let's say that my wife nags me for 16 minutes. I don't say a word. I'm staring at the TV. I got the remote. And finally, I turn and explode. Now, you take 100 people polling it. They say, well, I'm gonna give Ray 22% apology percentage there.
Okay.
Wife, 78%. Am I going to apologize for my 22? Independent of what she does. See, many times people don't, because they say, no, I wasn't the one that was most wrong. Well, that doesn't matter. You're apologizing for your percentage. A Christian should have a personal apology percentage, Renee, approaching 0. Most people, it's got to be at least 50% before they'll apologize. Well, I'm always the one apologizing.
Right.
If I apologize, then they'll think that I'm the one totally wrong and they're totally right. If I apologize, it's going to be thrown back in my face. If I apologize, they're going to say, well, that's just words. Why don't you change your conduct? All that's irrelevant. because your goal is to say, for what I did, whether I was provoked, whether I think you're ridiculous, whether you are 92% wrong and I'm 8% wrong, for what I did, I'm sorry. That softens people.
Yeah. So do you reckon? Okay, because I've actually thought like all of those things you said have run through my head at some point in the last 23 years of marriage. So,
That's why you're almost.
right, of course. So how do you recommend that you actually say it that way to your spouse or whoever but to your spouse specifically? I'm sorry for, you're not going to say a percentage, but for what I did.
I'm sorry that I screamed at you like that.
Right. Not for the whole fight, but for the portion that's your responsibility.
Well, you got to be careful because you qualify it.
Right.
Well, I'm sorry that I screamed at you like that. But if you wouldn't have gone on and got on me like that, I wouldn't have. No, 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 no.
Right.
The temptation is to justify.
Right.
That's kind of a Weasley apology.
Yeah.
Now, again, this is not easy to do, Renee.
Mm-hmm.
This is not easy at all.
Mm-hmm.
But if a person says, I want a softer marriage with a little more understanding on each side, then you make that kind of move. And unless you're living with Satan or his sister, most people will say something like, yeah, well, yeah, me too. I shouldn't have got on you like that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry too.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's a really good one. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I assume there's other small changes.
Somebody walks into my office. I have to sit and listen. I ask them questions. I got to understand what's going on in their head. I can't say to them, what are you, nuts? Come on. That's crazy. Why are you acting like that's just stupid the way you're acting. No, I got to sit there and I got to try to figure out what is it that they're thinking that is motivating them. I have to get in their head. It is said that people want to be understood more than they want to be agreed with. In a marriage, I'll ask a spouse in my office, do you know why your wife thinks you don't stick up for her with her mother? Well, she's told me. But do you know why? Could you say why? Well, I suppose if I asked her. Well, have you asked her? See, what I say to them is listen for at least 1 minute to when somebody is giving you their perspective on what you are doing. Don't immediately defend. Don't immediately jump in and say, well, wait a minute. Okay. You accuse me of the very same thing you do. You want to be able to say, I understand why you think I do that. Because you've told me. And sometimes just letting the other person realize, okay, I'm going to listen for a minute and I'm not going to say a word. 1 minute. That's it. 1 minute. They tend to think you're at least giving them a hearing. And again, that sidetracks arguments.
Right. That's got to diffuse the situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Next one?
Manners.
Oh, boy.
You get a little 5-year-old kid out in public. Somebody hands this kid a cookie. Manners make parents look very good out in public. That's why kids don't use them. So you help her out. What do you say? Mm-hmm. What's the magic word? We prod. Mm-hmm. We teach manners. Why? Because manners indicate respect. I respect you. Renee, if I leave this program later, I'll say, hey, Renee, thank you. Thank you for having me on the program. If I say that in and of itself is going to make you feel a little warmer toward me rather than, okay, Renee, well, you take care.
Right.
I don't even acknowledge that I'm grateful for what you did. In a marriage, manners slip. Hey, give me a cup of coffee, would you? Now, okay, that's kind of sort of asking, but where's the please?
Right.
And I always tell guys this, especially, if that woman puts in front of you a meal, do you make sure that you thank her every time that meal's been placed in front of you? Mm-hmm. Every single time.
Mm-hmm.
There's a law, I call it the law of social entropy. Renee, do you remember from your high school physics what the law of entropy is?
Okay, now I have to tell you, I am not a science person. My husband is, and my brother is.
Call him and ask him
Yes,
right
I know.
now.
And they actually bored me to death on a trip across the state of South Dakota talking about physics, and I almost threw them both out of the car. That's
And
how
that's a
much I
big
love
state
physics.
too.
Yes.
That's right. That's a big state. Okay, the law of entropy says this. Everything decays. Our bodies age, iron rusts, our houses will collapse in time, the sun will burn itself out.
Mm-hmm.
Given enough time, the universe will die a heat death. There's a parallel law that affects marriages. I call it the law of social entropy.
Okay.
When you were first dating, you were a lot more complimentary.
Mm-hmm.
You noticed the positives. You said please and thank you. You did a lot of things that were good for the courtship, the relationship. And as you got into the marriage, there doesn't have to be hostility. You know what it is? It's laziness.
Yeah.
Things tend to just slack. I'll say, when did you last tell your wife thank you? Oh, let's see. Well, let's see. I think she trimmed that one bush 2 years ago. I said, hey, that looks pretty good, thanks. We just get sloppy.
Mm-hmm.
But yet it's ironic because we won't let a 5-year-old get away with that.
Right.
But in a marriage, the law of social entropy takes over and you got to fight it. Your muscles get flabby.
Yeah. Yeah. And I notice you you actually use the man as the example a lot of the time, probably out of self-preservation.
Yeah, you got that right. I'm not dumb.
But
You know, my wife said to me the other night, this is just an indication of our communication style.
Yeah.
She said, Raymond, are you even listening to me? And I thought to myself, now that's a funny way to start a conversation.
I hope you didn't say that. Not out loud, just in your head, right? But so my point with that really is that women, I know you don't necessarily want to throw women under the bus, but we do this stuff too. So ladies are sometimes lazy in their marriage and start to like just not really appreciate a lot of the things our husbands do as well. So I'll say that for you, so you don't have to.
Thank you. You took the bullet for me.
I
Renee.
did. Okay, so manners, super important. Okay, what's the next
Here's
one?
another one.
Oh, yeah,
Here's another one.
yeah.
George Carlin, the comedian, says this. Don't sweat the petty things and don't pet the sweaty things. I can't tell you in marriages how often these little irritants that go on for 5, 6, 8, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years
Yeah.
are still there. They're still irritating the marriage. They're minor things. Someone will say to me, especially a wife, women are more aware of these things as a general rule. They'll say, you know what he does? I'll tell you what he does. And I'll say, well, how long has he been doing that? Oh my gosh. I mean, just shortly after we got married. I said, well, is he a good guy? Oh, he's wonderful. He's wonderful with the kids. He's affectionate to me. We have a beautiful marriage. Then I'll ask, so after these 17 years, why are you not at a point where this is not an issue anymore?
Yeah.
Well, because he won't change. Well, for whatever the reason, don't take it personal. I talked to him about this, and if he cared what I thought, he would change.
Right.
I always think I draw a parallel, Renee, to going to confession.
Yeah.
I go into confession, bless me, Father, and I give him my sins. What if he says to me, Ray, I've been your confessor for 9 years. I've been hearing the same sins for 9 years. So really, I'm not going to give you absolution. Because if you truly wanted to change this, you would. And obviously, you don't want to change it. And I say, but Father, wait. I'm weak, Father. I'm weak. I sin. I do these things. No. That's not good enough. See, we wouldn't want to hear that in confession, but we do that to our spouse.
Yeah. Yeah. And, if that did happen in confession, we would all be in terrible trouble.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Forgive me even though I don't change. Keep forgiving me. But I ain't going to keep forgiving you even though you don't change.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's a terrible place to put yourself in. Those petty things can really wear on you after a while. I know. But I often hear women who maybe aren't married yet or about to get married. They'll say something that indicates that they think they can change him. Or a husband might say that, or a soon to be husband might say the same thing, although I just don't hear it as much because I'm not usually talking to guys about that kind of stuff. I'm always like, oh, you're not going to change that. Just trust me, it's never going to change because just people don't change. We want them to, they don't change.
The research says personality, who you are, what you're like, whether you're outgoing or introverted or talkative or quiet, whatever it is, it's very durable.
Yeah.
It lasts that way for a lifetime. Now, the only thing that will really, really change it is a grace-filled desire to live like Christ.
Yeah.
So if my wife says to me, Ray, we go to parties and you're so sociable, you leave my side. Half the time I'm standing there with my finger up my nose. Where's Ray? Oh, he's over here talking to somebody else. Now, I may say to her, but honey, I'm outgoing. I'm just outgoing. That's just the way I am. That's who I am.
Yeah.
But if I really wanted to live for Christ there, I would say, that's important to my wife, that I don't neglect her at a party and leave her standing there picking her nose.
Yeah.
So yeah, the personality can change.
Yeah.
But it has to be done. I personally believe it has to be done because of our relationship with the Lord.
Yeah.
Because if it's just up to me, if it is only up to me, I'm going to say, well, no, I like socializing. I like having to talk to all those people and having a yuck good time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And, we can go ahead and suggest as you in that scenario, but it still has to be like the person's own decision to make that change to live more like Christ rather than for themselves.
One of the biggest strains on a marriage is personalization. And that's a shrink word. It basically means I read your motive as a personal comment upon me. The reason you're not staying by my side is because you don't care about what I want. You don't care if it makes me feel ill at ease. So you take it personal, as opposed to, well, Ray's kind of self-centered and he's going to pursue his own fun. And it really has nothing to do with him not caring about me, because in many other ways he does care. But what we do is we take it personal. I'll give you another example.
Okay.
A mother-in-law makes 182 comments about daughter-in-law's parenting. 182. It's gone on for 4 years now. I will ask mom, I'll say, does this still bother you like it did? Well, yeah. Why? Well, obviously she doesn't respect my competence. She doesn't respect my motherhood. So, but does number 182 bother you as much as number 10 did? Oh, yes, even more. Why is that? Cumulative effect. It's a buildup. I said, actually, it should go the other direction. You now have plenty of evidence. You know what she's like.
Right.
You know she does this. You don't know what her motive is. It may not at all be to put you down. It may reflect that she's trying to help, or she thinks she's smarter than you, or she blew her own motherhood because you live with her son and you realize she did, but she has to compensate.
Yeah.
Now, all those could be explanations, but if you interpret her motive as she is deliberately putting me down, you're not going to be able to deal with her.
Yeah.
You're going to say, I don't want any part of her.
Right. Okay, we have about 2 minutes-ish left. And I think there's one more small change. Am I right?
Oh, there's a whole bunch of small changes.
Okay, well, you have one more.
This is a cute little exercise. I like this exercise.
Yeah.
And it counters the law of social entropy.
Okay.
I want you to write down all the positive things about your spouse. Take as long as you have to put this list together, and your spouse doesn't know you're doing it.
Right.
You don't know. They don't know. And you're not being Weasley. You're not saying, well, you don't smell like a goat all the time. Well, you're not as obnoxious as you used to be. No, 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 no. I don't care what it is. You take care of the front bushes. You're affectionate with the kids. You always say hi to my mother when she walks in. I mean, there's literally thousands of these things you could come up with.
Yeah.
What I did with mine, I wrote my list out for my wife, and it had like 500 things on it. And she wrote her list out for me. I had 3 things on it. So what I did was I wrote my own list, and then I had her sign it.
There you go.
I said, here's what I think is positive about me. Just sign this. We simply don't recognize all the good things, and we have to force ourselves to think about them.
Mm-hmm.
Because the big stuff takes over. The big negative stuff takes over.
Yeah, that's really good advice. I find myself doing that sometimes, and you forget about all those great things that they do all the time. So
You've never given me a list, Renee.
I
Never.
haven't. It would be super short as well.
You need an egg timer. That's about it. Huh?
Right. Dr. Ray, are all of these things in one of your other books?
Yes. The Simple Steps to a Stronger Marriage is what we talked about today.
Okay.
A couple of the more adult books are Thinking Like Jesus, Jesus the Master Psychologist, and Living Calm. You can get those anywhere.
Yeah.
If you want to go to my website, drray.com, they're signed and they're discounted. So
nice.
If you're interested. Now, the marriage book is a 1 million seller. There's 1 million in my cellar.
Okay, if this is your first time hearing Dr. Ray, which if it is, I'm really sorry that you have not discovered him sooner. He has a great sense of humor and very self-deprecating, which is part of the humor. So, Dr. Ray, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today and helping us have better marriages in just little ways. But I feel like those little ways could turn out to be really huge things.
Thanks, Renee.
Yeah, thank you. If you haven't found us already on social media, you can find us at Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at SF Diocese, and of course at sfcatholic.org anytime. That's it for us today. Hope you'll join us again next week for more Catholic Views.